After the fight, McGregor said,
"Was there anything at all surprising about it to you?"
Not one bit. They're not on my level.
After McGregor's win, plenty of celebrities and athletes took to Twitter to react. Let's take a look at what they had to say. From former wrestler Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, he tweeted, "Congrats UFC for a spectacular NYC show. Respect to the King McGregor, showmanship and skills on a precedent-setting level. Hashtag UFC 205. NASCAR race driver Dale Earnhardt Jr. wrote, "As a champ, Alvarez deserved a moment to defend. But McGregor had total control. Would have rather paid to see Nate Diaz in there though." Ooh, throwing a little shade, I see. Pac-Man tweeted, "McGregor does it again. Such an exciting fighter to watch." And my boy Takeo Spikes tweeted, "McGregor's post-fight speech was priceless. I want to take this time to apologize to no one." He ended that one with a crying, laughing emoji. Tito Ortiz simply tweeted, "That looked easy."
Would win that.
I don't know, man. It's hard to be confident, and he's the most confident guy on planet Earth. So, I don't know. I don't know how he would stop Khabib from taking him down and eventually getting him to where he wants to fight. I would probably see Khabib winning, but his left hand is phenomenal, and you cannot take anything away from that thing.
Okay, last thing. Khabib, Conor, who wins?
It's going to be a tough fight for both people. There's a lot of pressure for one guy, and then I mean, Khabib's supposed to win because a guy like Conor's new. It takes a long time to develop a formula to deal with somebody like George St. Pierre or Khabib.
Good wrestler.
Yeah, there's a certain formula you have to use. You can't just lay on your back. You gotta turn over.
You can't just box them.
But you gotta know how to deal with, you know.
About Khabib and Conor.
Man, I think Conor would get him. I think Khabib runs in recklessly, and I think Conor will put one on his chin and put him out cold.
Really?
Wow. Yeah.
I really think that, yeah, honestly.
If I have to bet, if I have to bet,
have to put the house on it.
If I have to put my house on it,
one of them.
I've lost on the ground. He has a few losses, and he lost on the ground, where Khabib is good. That's where Khabib is the most competent as. However, Khabib sometimes is a slow starter, and he get punched a lot.
Michael Johnson.
Yes, he didn't look good in the beginning of the fight, and he's hard sometimes to close distance. You have a problem to close the distance, but once he got you in the clinch, he's very good. So I believe the chance, the odds goes on Khabib's favor, like maybe 60-40. I believe
Khabib has more chance to win that fight than Conor. Conor has one way to win the fight. It will be if you catch him on the way in, standing up. Khabib, I think, has more chance to win. He can win by submission on the ground. He can win by ground and pound. If he goes to decision, the chances are very likely that is Khabib that's gonna win. I see more ways to win from Khabib than I see from Conor.
Okay. What's your opinion on that fight? When you first heard it, where were we at on that?
When I heard it a while ago and the thing was going to happen, my money was on Khabib.
Yeah.
After Khabib's last performance against Al, I know Al's a good guy, a good fighter as well too.
Amazing fighter.
I just don't think his stand-up's there.
No,
I just don't.
I agree.
I feel like Conor's just got that left hand. He's fast. He's going to be able to use his angles, his crazy kicks,
his footwork.
And I've always underestimated the guy. And then he's
Conor,
yeah. Like Eddie Alvarez. Oh, Eddie Alvarez is going to run through.
I know.
Him.
I thought it was a terrible matchup for him.
You know, Jose Aldo's going to beat him.
I know. I look at I did the exact same thing before Khabib fought Al.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I do not want to see Conor fight Khabib.
Yeah.
This is going to be a terrible matchup for him. And I watched that Al fight. I'm like, oh shit, he's human.
Khabib's slow, man. You know,
for me, the biggest red flag was transitions from striking to grappling.
He shot without setting anything up.
and far away. I'm like, oh shit. Well, Al's a phenomenal fighter, but Conor's movement, is second to none. So he's not going to be there, and that leaves you open to whatever he wants to do with those angles. So it's a good fight.
When I look at that fight, I think Khabib kicks his ass. I've always thought Khabib would kick his ass. I always thought Khabib would just go take him down and beat him up. I'm then confronted with the evidence that Chad Mendes also took him down but failed to beat him up. I'm also confronted with the evidence that I thought Jose Aldo would go out there and expose Conor and beat him up. I'm confronted with the fact that I thought Eddie Alvarez was going to go out there and beat him up. Well, when you look at Conor, you are left with the question, just how good is he, right? I do agree when you look at it, yeah, it looks like Khabib can keep up with his conditioning. Khabib can pressure him. Khabib can take him down, keep him there, beat him up. Because we've seen Khabib do those things to so many other great guys. But we've seen Chad Mendes do it as well, and Chad Mendes had a very, very hard time keeping Conor down, and I can't tell you why. Some of those guys are slippery down there. Some of those guys just know how to move their hips. Some of those guys know how to turn and adjust and scramble and get back to their feet. And I'm not sure we know the answer to the question of how good is Conor. I'll tell you right now, I think he's in over his head.
I think if Khabib does not correct the mistake of sitting back with his chin back and going to the side, Conor's going to put his lights out with that left hand pretty bad, pretty quickly. But Conor McGregor on his back, I don't feel like he has look from the past, looking at everything, I don't feel like he has a strong spirit for fighting on the ground. So some guys have a real strong spirit. They can stand up all day for 5-10 rounds as long as they're standing up. But when it goes to the ground, their spirit weakens. So I don't think Conor has a strong enough spirit to be able to withstand Khabib's ground attack over and over and over and over. So I'd have to give the edge to Khabib.
What's his record? 25-0?
26 now.
26-0.
26-0.
That's amazing.
And he's barely tested.
Yeah.
He barely gets tested.
Yeah, that's amazing.
You see one little flaw in him, you get all excited.
Yeah.
Because like, ooh, look, he's keeping his
chin up. Who do you think
up.
win that fight?
What's that?
Who do you think win that fight?
It's a good question. The question is, can Conor catch him? Can Conor catch him while he's coming in?
Yeah.
And if Conor can catch him, look, Conor can knock anybody out.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you see what he did to Eddie Alvarez. You see what he did to Aldo. Nobody had ever done that to Aldo before.
That's the best strikers in the division.
Yeah. And what Conor has is incredible precision and the ability
he's so fast.
So fast.
His speed, his angles, he moves, create an angle, and he just counter the shit out of the guys, and yeah, that's all he needs.
He also moves unusual. He moves almost like a karate guy.
Yeah, he does.
You know,
he does.
like wide stance, but then knocks you out like a real pro boxer. Like
the only thing I'm doubting on Conor, yeah, you know, he's the best striker and all of that, but does he have the conditioning for Khabib?
That's a good question.
Khabib, he just keeps going and
different animal.
Yeah,
and it's also the wrestling.
Yeah,
like Khabib's wrestling is not just a level above everybody else, but multiple levels.
Yeah,
like he just.
I heard like heavy guys. I'm talking about heavyweights talking about Khabib's pressure on the ground, being on top.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, taking that seat belt around, taking his hands, moving that leg up. You know, just neutrals the guy totally. So,
Luke Rockhold said he never loses a round in training.
Oh, he said?
He said he doesn't lose a round.
Yeah, Khabib.
Khabib doesn't lose a round. He just smashes everybody.
That's insane, man.
Everybody who wrestles with him are like, fuck, here we go. Time to go through the grinder. It's like
I think odds are in Conor's favor because it starts standing every round, and unless Khabib can take him down over and over and over again, right off the bat, I think the power is going to be a little much.
Wow, so you got Conor in this. You think his stand-up is going to...
I mean, I could be on the fence on this one because Khabib could take him down 100 times too.
Just hold him down.
Yeah, but the Mystic Mac has that little. He beat some good Chad Mendes, Jose Aldo. Like those guys don't get knocked out often.
Eddie Alvarez,
Eddie Alvarez. Yeah, a lot of tough guys.
He has a good, so if you're a betting man, you're going with Conor.
I think so.
Wow.
I just don't see him beating Tony Ferguson.
See him beating Khabib?
I see him beating Khabib a lot easier than Tony.
Wow, I disagree.
You know, a lot of people say that. A lot of people are high on Khabib. I don't know, man. I just...
You've been calling Khabib out since
I've been calling Khabib out for years, bro. Years, bro. Khabib's got a lot of holes in his game. You know, his footwork's terrible. His striking is terrible.
But his grappling is
it's brutal.
It's tough.
But you just have to keep moving. You have to keep moving. You gotta not let him settle. I think that's what Tony's gonna do. I think Conor would sleep him. I think he would sleep Khabib. He sleeps Khabib. He stands a much better chance versus Khabib than Tony. It seems when Khabib gets hit, he doesn't really expect it. You know, he's just trying to push forward. Those are the punches I think that sting you a lot more. You see, Khabib will stop in his tracks because he's coming straight forward. And against somebody with a left hand like that, I don't know.
It's gonna be a good fight. I think it's great for the sport. I think it's gonna probably gonna break the record. You know what I mean? As far as the gate. So
what are your thoughts on that fight?
You know, to be honest, I think Khabib is just such a machine. It's very difficult for anybody to stop him from applying that pressure on him. But Conor McGregor's been known to be stoic, be really relaxed.
Right.
And as we saw, Jose Aldo came in a little too happy with that face up, that crack. So if anybody can sneak a shot in, I think Conor's precise enough to do so.
Chad Mendes gave Conor problems on the ground, and Chad Mendes is no Khabib.
Yeah.
You know, so that's one thing I would look back. The other thing I would point out is that, for me, I believe in guys being active. Like, Conor he's fought one MMA match in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
One. Khabib has been rolling over people. He's been making the weight consistently. He's been doing the right things. He's looked good reasonably. He hasn't been finishing anybody, but he's been winning.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. I think Conor's a live dog in this. I think Khabib comes at him kind of square. You know, Khabib kind of has that same rhythm, that same style. He keeps pushing forward, and he's consistent. He's tough. But Conor got that sleeper, though.
Sometimes Conor had that sleeper with Chad Mendes, though. And Chad Mendes is a lot. His reach is not as long as Khabib, and he's definitely not as aggressive with the takedown and not as good at ground and pound once you get on top. Well, so I think it's an even fight, to be honest.
The other thing I would point out is that the first 2 minutes of the Khabib-Michael Johnson fight, Michael Johnson was touching him with left hands. Touched him up. I feel like if Conor touches Khabib with those same left hands that Michael Johnson did,
a little bit more stank on it.
That fight might be over.
Sticks and move and keep touching them. That, from what I've seen from that Michael Johnson.